Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today, as promised, I'm going to give you guys an update on what I've been playing on my Mage in 3v3 Arena. The reason I don't want to make this like an official Mage guide is because all of these things are changing on a day-to-day basis. One, as the metagame develops, but two, as Blizzard changes up the Azerite gear, as we've seen some recent buffs and nerfs to different Azerite traits. So last time I did this was about 2 weeks ago, and I was playing Thunderous Blast. I went over stat priorities and stuff like that. The reason I'm doing this again is because Thunderous Blast got nerfed. Different compositions are good, so I'm going to be going over what gear I'm running with, what stats I'm running with, what items, trinkets, compositions I've been playing, and different stuff like that in Arena currently, okay? So the helm I'm running with is the Battlefield Focus helm. This might surprise some of you guys, but I'll explain it here in a second. I'm running with the Battlefield Focus shoulders as well, 385, and I'm running with just a Dread Gladiator Silk Robe with the Combined Might and Gut Ripper traits. Now, I don't think Gut Ripper is that good. The reason I take it is because it seems like Heed My Call is a little sketchy with breaking CC because it does a slight AoE to the target. Unstable Flames actually could be worth it over Gut Ripper as well, but Gut Ripper helps a little bit with that physical execute, so if someone Cloak of Shadows or something, it'll go through that. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about in this video too is the recent buff to Frigid Grasp, and I'm sure there's a ton of you guys wondering about it, and like, Xaryu, why are you not playing with Frigid Grasp? I think it's actually very good, for the record, and I have Frigid Grasp helmet, and I have Frigid Grasp shoulders. Now, I don't have a Frigid Grasp chest piece yet. I've been trying to farm it. I've been farming a lot of Frigid Grasp chest piece runs, and I have not quite gotten the opportunity to get a drop yet. But one of the main reasons is I actually do think it's good. But my shoulders are 385, Dread Gladiator Silk Mantle 385, versus the 340 Frigid Grasp shoulders. Now, the big problem with this, guys, is I lose 161 int and 322 stamina just to equip these shoulders with Frigid Grasp. Now, I guess the point of this is the traits that you want to run, at least for right now, are going to highly depend on the item level of the gear that you have or the traits that you have currently available to you. So since I have high item level Battlefield Focus shoulders, I'm using a Battlefield Focus build where I proc Battlefield Focus on the enemy. It gives 20 stacks of a debuff, and then I can burst a little bit harder into that. In some of these games, Battlefield Focus is doing anywhere from 5% to 15 or 20% of my damage. So maybe not 20%, but 5% to 15% of my damage. So Battlefield Focus is actually doing quite a lot overall in a game. Now, the chest piece is, this chest piece is just bad. Combined Might is not very good, like straight up. However, it is 355, and I'm running into a similar situation. I have more chest pieces in the bank, but I'm running into a similar situation where I'm losing almost 100 intellect if I trade out another trait, like 100 passive intellect if I'm trading out another trait instead of this. So I'm just running this because of the item level. But there is a trade-off. Like if there's a 355 chest or shoulders versus 340, and the 340 ones are like best in slot and the 355 ones are awful, you might be able to trade that out. Like if I got the Frigid Grasp chest at 340, and the Frigid Grasp chest is obviously very good, I'd probably use it over these 355 Combined Might chest. Even though I'm losing a bit of intellect just to equip it, the trait is that much better. So basically what I'm trying to tell you guys is, depends on which gear you have. Currently, I'm swapping between a Battlefield Focus build or a Frigid Grasp build with Ice Form. Okay, so I'm going to go over my talents now, running over a very, very similar thing. Ice Nova, Shimmer, and Canner's pretty much always locked in. Ebon Bolt, pretty much always locked in. Frigid Grasp and Ring of Frost, this is the one I've been swapping a lot. Frigid Grasp, if you're playing Mage Lock Druid, I'm probably going to go tag Undasta to try to get lucky for a mount. Cross your fingers, YouTube channel. If I get it, that'd be hilarious because I do this on stream all the time. Probably won't drop, but we'll kill him anyway. Wow. No mount. Anyway, continuing the guy. I've never done a mount kill during a guy. That's hilarious. Frigid Grasp versus Ring of Frost. Frigid Grasp, guys, anytime you're playing with a Shadow Priest, a Warlock, an Ellie Shaman, so wizards, okay, you're not trying to do just triple CC setup and burst, okay? So Ring of Frost, if you're queuing with a Rogue, a Feral Druid, things that you're going for Polymorph on one, Ring on another, cross CC, right? That is where Ring of Frost excels because it's essentially a second polymorph. If you get kicked in one, you can cast the other, or you can get a Ring of Frost in one, polymorph on the other, kill the third. So Ring of Frost with a Feral, with a Rogue, potentially with a Warrior. Frigid Winds for things like Wizard Cleaves, dampening compositions, etc., etc. Always Comet Storm and always Ray of Frost. So really the only thing you're changing is Ring of Frost versus Frigid Winds right now in the metagame. That could definitely change. Now, pretty much always been playing with Temp Shield and pretty much always playing with Concentrated Coolness. So those are pretty much lock-ins. Burst of Cold is the one I've been changing around. You actually might be surprised that I'm running Burst of Cold, and I'll explain why in a second. If you Nova and Cone of Cold, it increases the Cone of Cold damage by 400%, so you can actually AoE burst with it. Same thing with Frigid Wind, guys. Burst of Cold is good in a situation where you're just dampening, slow game, not doing setup kills, so it would not be good with a Rogue, probably not be good with a Feral, probably not be good with a Warrior, but it might be really good with a Affliction Warlock, or a Shadow Priest, maybe a Shadow Priest, or a Moonkin potentially, or an Ellie Shaman. So these dampener wizard comps, Burst of Cold works very well because you can just slow people, get some more damage out, and continue the game and increase your overall DPS and your overall control. Now, if you're doing setups, I recommend Deep Shatter. I recommend Kleptomania versus Restoration Druids. I recommend Ice Form. This is a big one. Ice Form if you're playing Frigid Grasp. Frigid Grasp makes it so when you pop Icy Veins, you get the Intellect. 659 Intellect on each piece, which stacks up to 3 times. So you could get up to like 1,800 Intellect. And if you have better pieces, you could get even up to over 2,000 Intellect if you have 355 or 385 shoulders, whatever. And you can use it once a minute with Ice Form. This is incredibly powerful, and that's the build that I talked about in my last video yesterday, and I want to play, but I don't quite have the traits for it yet. But if you're playing the Frigid Grasp build, guys, you're always going to lock in Ice Form, okay? So that's another one. And then Prismatic Cloak versus casters, maybe Destruction Warlock, Moonkin, Mage, Double Caster, something like that. So this last trait depends a lot. I've actually been testing out Frostbite against some double melee compositions. A friend of mine, Sam I Am, actually told me about that. He's a mage that's competing in tournaments currently. He's doing very well. Frostbite in that situation is interesting. It gives you more and more Novas, although it DRs with Pet Nova and Normal Nova. It's still really difficult for the double melee to deal with. So I've been testing that. I don't know if I'm crazy about it, but you can keep that in mind. So Klepto, for this last slot, Klepto, Frostbite, Deep Shatter, Burst Cold, Ice Form, Prismatic Cloak, depending on the situation. And then if you are running the Frigid Grasp build, always lock in Ice Form. And then if you need something else like Klepto, then you would remove Temp Shield. You could even think about removing Concentrated Coolness if you're dying too much and you want to keep Temp Shield. So that's pretty much an update on the talents I've been running with, an update on the gear I've been running with. As far as stat priorities, guys, I've been running with Haste as the main stat, Versatility as the off stat, or Mastery if I can't find Verse, and then Crit last. And this might come as a surprise to you guys if you do PvE. Crit is #1 priority for mages because you want that crit cap to 33 to guarantee the shatter crits. But that is not the case in PvP, and the reason is because you just don't have the luxury to get the crit cap because you really need Haste to get the polys. But I've been running Haste versus Mastery Crit still with my stat priorities. I think it was the same as my last update video. And then as far as trinkets, I'm running with Dread Gladiator's Insignia. This is a proc trinket, gives you stat on proc. And then the badge, which gives you a stat on use. And as far as enchants, I actually probably should get the 37 haste enchants, but I'm going with the 27 haste enchants instead on my rings, of course, because haste is the top priority for stats. On my weapon, I'm going with quick navigation. Same reasoning here, guys. Need to get more haste. You can get off those polymorphs. You can get off your burst rotations. It just seems like more globals is more better. So quick navigation just helps you play your class a little bit smoother, a little bit better, instead of Torrent to the Elements, I believe is what it's called. That gives you that 10% damage, which is also good as far as the straight up damage breakdown, but this is going to help you have a little bit more fluidity in your gameplay. Now, I briefly want to talk about these inner traits. I think Overwhelming Power is one of the best inner traits. I also don't mind Elemental Whirl, anything that gives you the stat on proc for the inner trait. I think Gut Ripper is just not doing as much damage as I want it to. So that's why I haven't been taking it. I don't like to take Gut Ripper, but I took it here because Heed My Call, Break CC, and Azerite Globals, Globals, Break CC as well. So you can't really go these. And so I'm kind of forcing the Gut Ripper here. And then for the inner trait, I think Azerite Fortification is a great choice. I think Cauterizing Blink is a great choice. I don't have it here. I think Vampiric Speed is awful. I think Impassive Visage is okay. But I like on this next one, I'm going to go Caught Blink. So I can go Caught Blink when I can. I think Azerite Fortification might even be the best in slot here. But it kind of just depends on how you want to play as well. But yeah, that's pretty much a breakdown on currently what I've been doing on my Mage, guys. Hopefully this helps. And once again, guys, I'm going to be doing like a full-length, in-depth Mage guide once the metagame kind of settles down, everything shifts into place. I'm like, you should play this composition, play this type of gear, all that kind of stuff. But right now, it's still very much in the works. And the last thing I want to talk about is the compositions that I'm currently playing for Frost Mage. Now, I think the best possible composition is Rogue, Assassination Rogue, Frost Mage, Restoration Druid, or Disc Priest. That's probably your best in slot comp for 3s right now. I think FMP kind of works. I think Boomkin Mage Holy Pally kind of works. I think Shadow Priest Mage, Resto Druid, or Holy Pally kind of works. Yesterday I was playing Affliction Warlock Frost Mage Resto Druid, which for the record I don't think is a great comp, but I was running and it's okay. Wouldn't recommend. I've been playing some Ellie Mage Resto Druid once again. Okay, wouldn't recommend. I think mages right now do the best with a melee class. So I would recommend playing something like Warrior Mage Druid, Assassination Mage Druid, Frost, by the way, Feral Mage Priest, melee, and then Frost Mage, and then either a Paladin or a Druid or a Priest for the healer. Those are the compositions that I would currently recommend for Frost Mage. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you did not enjoy the video, make sure to give it a big thumbs down. Talk to me down below in the comments about what type of videos you guys want to see in the future. This video that you're watching right now was a comment from yesterday's video where I was reading the comments and somebody wanted a video just like this. So went ahead and made this video. So if you guys want a specific video, be sure to let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next upload. Peace.